wonderful embarkment on tea. All right, so it is the Ashford Tea Company, the Gray, with jazz stylings by Kim Steiner. You all just join us for a little bit. We're not going to be live long. I just want you to get a taste of what we're doing here. So thank you for joining us. They're all bustling around. People are waiting outside. They're about to come in and enjoy True Tea by Wayne Ashford. This is exciting and amazing because this is a unique, one-of-a-kind event that is only happening between Ashford Ashford Tea Company and the Gray, a renowned restaurant with a wonderful co-founder that is a beautiful chef that is going to wow us with some courses along with Chef Eric. And yes, this is the Kim Steiner. Y'all give it up for Kim Steiner. Give it up. He is going to be wowing us with his wonderful, wonderful, beautiful piano, his accompaniment, and all of that fun stuff. Straight from Broadway, we have Kim Steiner. And it's going to be a lot of fun, so don't go anywhere. I'm going to be doing a few introductions. I might sing a song or two. We'll see what happens. But for one thing is for sure, the tea will be flowing. You look like you liked it. That's the chef. Yeah, man, merchant. Yes, always get the merch. If you go to an establishment, especially if it's local, get the merch. Yes. Where's Wayne? Oh, I don't know. It wasn't my turn to watch him today.
It's all a start without him being here.
We can't.
Check. Hello. Yes. Yes, y'all. And you do not stop. All right. There he is. There's the man of the hour. There's the man of the moment. Wayne Ashford. Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Ashford. Hello, Lucas. Let the tea flow.
I feel like we should eat out.
Hello, beautiful. Welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Wayne, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, brought my husband to enjoy it too. Alex, Mr. Wayne Ashford. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to see ya.
Nice to be seen.
Next week too. I think it's gonna be a lot. Yes, thank you. No, don't worry.
I'm good. I'm Wayne. I'm Wayne. I'm fine. I'm ready to train. Okay. I'm Wayne. My pleasure. You too, sir. Brent. Wayne.
Indiana for 50 years. I was in Fort Wayne.
So, ladies and gentlemen, do not start your tea yet, please.
Do not start your tea yet.
Please. I will give you the cues, and we're pairing these with some great, outstanding culinary entrees. So please.
No starting. We're watching you.
It's like my conscience.
So this table will be in charge of introducing the first entree. Preparing it with the tea.
You have to call on
That's the best.
Everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome to this beautiful, unique, and fabulous event, Ashford Tea at the Gray. I'm Sheila Barrett, and this is Kim Steiner. And we're gonna do a little music styling for you, but first, you are in store for 5 courses by these renowned chefs, paired with true teas by the man of the hour. So Kim Steiner here, I'm going to give you a quick little introduction. Kim Steiner, he's the music director of SCAD, and he is a Broadway accompanist for about 15 years. So we are delighted to have him here, so we'll give him a little bit of applause, a little encouragement. Thank you guys. Now, to the matter at hand. I will definitely hand the microphone over to the man who is a true tea connoisseur, a purveyor. And we're not really here about the teas, we're here about passion. The passion this man has for tea is going to exude all over this room, and you all too will be true tea lovers when you leave this place, okay? So prepare your palates, prepare your minds, prepare your hearts and your souls, because you're about to get a treat from this gentleman who is going to lay his passion out on the plate and pour it into a cup for you. Mr. Wayne Ashford.
I feel like I'm in Madison Square Garden. I'm trying to break out of my sweats as I come out here. You know?
Hey, let's get it.
I'm going to try to
If you want
my
to
voice
absolutely,
as much as I can. So welcome. This is so heartfelt, so heartwarming. I just really want to stand here and enamor all you guys being here, right? The beauty of you being able to to choose your time to spend with us here at the Gray and Ashford Tea Company. Man, it's so beautiful, because you could be anywhere else in the world if you wanted to be. Anywhere. Yeah. So this all started with conversations with Chef Bailey and her staff. And I can't tell you how beautiful and important that conversation was. To be able to have this award-winning chef talk to me about these little tea man, little tea guy, to be able to pair with this artistry of culinary that she presents all the time. But this is something that I have manifested, right? I always have said, almost a 30-year journey, that true tea is really, really culinary. It's more culinary than anything else, right? And I hope that I'm able to present that to you this afternoon. Listen, afternoon tea in Savannah, wow. Wow. And so I hope I'm able to present that to you guys and give you what I call the true perspective of added tea to your learning. I did say seasoned, right? We're not getting, we're just seasoned, right? You know that old skillet where you put some ingredients in and the residues stay around, and then you put some more ingredients and so on and so on and so on, and you become this beautiful person that you are right now, right? And it's deeper than skin. It's deeper than skin. So that's what we're going to present to you today. We're going to, if you can hold the questions until we get to the last, it's going to be a lot of moving parts, but I think you're going to enjoy the in-between too as well. So by show of hands, how many regularly indulge in loose teas? Okay, all right. So at Ashford Tea Company, sometimes we don't mention this word, you know, but I'm going to mention it because we're in the Gray, but I sometimes call it the C word, right? So how many of you guys indulge in more coffee than you do tea by show of hands? Okay, all right, good. So hopefully, again, I'm going to give you the perspective of kind of the difference without really saying the C word so much, but present you with tea. So again, this is a beautiful thing, and I really appreciate you guys being here. So we're gonna go 5 courses with 5 teas, right? Of those 5 teas that we're gonna present to you, one of them is not a true tea.
Wow.
Okay? And so again, and I will elaborate a little bit more once we get there. So the first teas we're gonna do are gonna be mainly single estate teas. I wanted you guys with this first one. So Gray and I are gonna continue to do this seasonally. And I wanted to be able to ramp it up. So if you want to continue to come, each one will be a little different. Okay, so this first one is about really appreciating true tea at its purest level. Okay, so single estate teas. We're mainly going to taste single estate teas. And so when I say single estate teas, I'm talking about that's how it grows. So I wanted you to be able to experience that. Most people deal and experience teas with, internationally, they'll say Americans drink foo-foo teas, right? So a lot of fluff to it. So today you guys are going to be introduced to true teas from one origin, one estate, and you'll actually see what true teas taste like from the basic four perspectives: white, green, oolong, black. So those are the four basic types of perspective from teas. But along with that, we're going to take those perspectives and pair with these great offering that the Gray has been able to put together. Okay, and so I'm going to give you some housekeeping issues too as well, and that you can follow as we go along. Okay. So what we're going to do with each presentation, you're going to sip, bite, sip. Sip, bite, sip. In that aspect, you will be able to connect with all the nuances of the pairing. Okay? One of the things that tea does, I believe, like no other beverage is, it aids your digestive system and also cleans your palate all at the same time. Okay? So again, so eating really is a very mindful thing, and that's one of the objectives of the Ashford Tea Company, is to create this cultural experience from the health, from the artistry of it, and from the crafting of it. Okay? And this is why this relationship with the Gray is so very, very unique. Because I'm doing it from the expertly side of creating this beverage that's designed in a certain way. And she's doing it from the same aspect. The great staff, led by Chef Bailey, is doing it from the same way from the culinary side. So tea is the culinary companion of food. There's no other beverage does that. Coffee drinkers. I said the word that time. No other beverage that does that. Okay, and science proves it.
Of donuts.
Okay. So, as you're waiting, any expectations real quick that you guys are wanting from this? Because I don't want to be so redundant. If you have something I need to get to, I want to get to it. What are you expecting from this? I don't want to be so formal that I'm the one always talking, and if you feel comfortable, throw something out. What are you expecting from the tasting? How many of you guys have been to a high tea tasting? Okay. And let me ask, from your high tea tasting, did they introduce the teas to you? They introduced the teas. Yes or no? So some say yes, some say no. So did they introduce the food to you? No. Don't be bashful. Don't be bashful.
It wasn't like meals, it was like, different.
Right.
Small.
Right. And so, and this is what I talked to you about perspective, right? A lot of times we move through, so Ashford Tea wants to give you perspective. I'm not trying to get you to change anything that you don't want to change, right? But I want you to be able to understand is that, there's a big difference between perception and perspective. And so, and how we deal with it as we go on the journey. So tea itself was started off as a hearty drink with a hearty meal. That's how tea kind of came to be from the culinary piece or from the dining piece. And so what we call high tea is not literally high tea. the guests sitting at the bar are drinking will be more high tea than the ones sitting in the booths. So the ones in the booths will be low tea. That's the simplicity of tea, right? And so this wise man once said that the biggest challenge of our life, the complication of our life, is getting to simple. Life is very, very simple, but the complication of it is getting there. And so perceptions, all these things that context, pains, all these things you deal with on your journey kind of drives or navigates that for you. But the simple aspect of life is finding yourself in the things that ground you. The things that ground you. Okay? So high tea wasn't even discovered like we do it today. And high tea comes from actually standing up or sitting at a high table drinking. There was not really any food aspect that made it special. High tea and tea itself in general was also mainly a man's drink. So again, you can see how we did from the perspective of everything and how we perceive everything. So on the American side, guess what? It's more of a woman's drink. And so on the American side, it's also more been elevated to more of an elegant thing, something we only do when we want to be fancy. And so that's one of the things that I want to be able to introduce, and Ashford Tea tries to introduce, and I believe the Great does as well with their food, is how can we continue to be very conscious, but simple, but yet clean, peaceful, connecting with ourselves as we enjoy these things individually. And that's being very mindful. That's a mindful thing about it, right? How many has ever said, you know what? I need a cup of tea. Right? So when you say that to someone who's not even a tea drinker, right? They know what you're trying to get to, right? You're trying to get to that woo-sa, right? You're trying to get to that woo-sa. What's the difference when someone says, hey, I got to get my first cup of coffee?
That's exactly how
You better get out of their way, right? And so again, this is what most Americans, what we deal with. We are in movement. We think being in movement all the time is where the peace and the joy comes from. But that's not so. But just imagine with what we're going to go through today, if that every time you decided to have a meal, you're going to put it into perspective of nourishing yourself, connecting with self, connecting with others, and just be. Think about that for a minute. Think about all the times we eat, and if we incorporate some of those elements in there, think about how you would navigate from the time you finish eating to the time you left that table or whatever. Perspective.
Yes.
So the first tea you guys are going to try is a white tea. How many of you have had a white tea before? Okay. And so we import teas from around the world. Okay. And I believe that the best white teas, now some tea experts will differ. So this is Wayne's world, right?
Yeah.
So it's my journey. I believe that China harvests the best white teas in the world. And why shouldn't it, right? That's where tea was discovered. Okay? So China, best white teas in the world. So your first one is going to be a white single estate Chinese tea. The surname of it is called Pai Mu Tan. The slang name of it is called peony. and that's from like the flower. If you can see the leaves itself, you would see there's some correlation with the leaf of a human flower. Okay? And so that's, and then we're gonna move on to the next one, which will be a green tea. And our green teas are from Japan. And I believe Japan harvests the best green teas in the world. And I'm not saying that they don't do other teas well, but I'm saying that's what I believe they do the best.
Yes.
And then we'll move on to oolongs. How many have had oolongs? By show of hands. So you guys are very well versed. I don't need to do this at all. Very versed. Oolongs. Oolongs. So oolongs are, I believe that Taiwan harvests the best oolongs in the world. Okay? And then we go to the black tea aspect. So black teas, that's what most Americans drink, black tea. Okay? Most Americans drink black tea. I believe in totality, as far as diverse black teas, India harvests the best and diverse black teas in the world. What most people don't know, what I'm getting ready to tell you, is that Kenya is the one of the number one exporters of black teas in the world. And then I believe Kenya's black tea is one of the best all-day sipping black teas that you can partake in. No, not Earl Grey, not English breakfast, not Irish breakfast, not Scottish, but I believe Kenya. And also, us being in the South, right, it also makes a wonderful, wonderful iced tea. Wonderful iced tea. So speaking of iced tea, you Southerners, I know, right? You like that sweet tea, right? You like that sweet tea. There will be no sweet tea today. But we do have a treat for you on a chilled aspect that I really, really believe that you're going to, oh my goodness. Listen, I trust the Greg, right? I trust him. They was telling me about this thing, right? I'm not going to say it right now, but it's telling me about this thing. And I just tried it for the first time today, and oh my goodness gracious. It is wonderful. It is wonderful. So we have a mocktail that you guys are going to do. And that's another thing that we're in the conversation of, is assisting with the mocktail aspect for the day. You know, it's so beautiful when you know, high cuisine and high excellence understands the navigation of life.
Nice.
It's just so special, right? How many times have you guys, especially you pure tea drinkers, now I'm not picking on anyone else, right? But how many times have you gone into this great establishment and you asked for a cup of tea, right? And what do they bring you out?
Lipton.
Y'all spoke up on that one, didn't you? You spoke up on that one. And so again, it just doesn't go, right? It's like, hey, it just doesn't go. And so again, I love it. And this is again like almost 30 years in business. I've been trying to persuade these great culinary environments and organizations to beef up their tea aspect. And so the perspective I want you guys to understand is that what happens when you slow down your day? What happens when you slow down your day? And you'll see, and I think you're starting to see it right now, you'll see that you're a lot more productive of self than you are when you speak it up. Okay? And the difference is that, again, movement on this side of the water is what we maximize on. So if there are any elements that are going to slow you down, that might not be the first thing anyone thinks about. Because if everyone's in a movement aspect, right? Everyone's in a movement aspect, then everything they introduce to you will be from a movement aspect. So tea is very behind on this side of the water as far as high in beverage intake. So the world says tea is number 2 beverage consumed. The world says water is number one. And when you look at America, right, neither one of those are one or two or even three. So again, I'm here to give perspective. I'm here to give perspective. And this is how we get from actually having tea, true tea, that goes with a hearty meal every time you have a meal, to coming to the grave and listening to Wayne talk, right? But it's a benefit for me, right? It's a benefit for me. But I want you guys to be able to add this to your lifestyle, because I really believe it's super, super important. And I don't just say that because I am a tea purveyor. I say that because it's my life.
Yes.
Tea and water are my two main beverages. I didn't get there overnight. But isn't that our journey? Isn't that our journey?
Yes.
And so now that I'm here, the clarity that you guys are going to get from each course and each panel, if you hadn't already have some type of that right now, it's going to be amazing. Because what this environment does, whether you want it or not, it's going to open you up to receive.
Yes.
Right? And that's where perspective comes in. That's where understanding comes in. And so these spaces and being able to create spaces like this is super, super important in our neighborhoods and in our community. And again, I'm biased, but there's certain things that actually triggers this type of feel, this type of vibe. And for me, tea has always been that thing. I try to stray away from it, then I go back. Go back. And I always went back when I was trying to get grounded. And so now on this journey, everything that I surround myself with grounds me, and it's purposeful. It's purposeful. So I'm going to let you guys listen to a little music. The food should come out. When the food come out, we will start talking about this pairing. And I tell you what, go ahead and take one sip of your tea, and I'm going to have my staff, some of my staff come out and pour it for you.
Woo.
You guys already want to hate. And also, please listen to the great Kim Stein.
Miss the Saturday dance, heard they crowded the floor. Couldn't do without you, don't let them let you go. Lord, I visit the club, got as far as the door. They don't ask me about you, don't get around let you know. Darling, I guess my mind's more at ease. But nevertheless, lost her in memory, living like you don't think. Not good, but before. Only different without you. Don't get around what you know. Darling, I guess my mind's more ready. But nevertheless, lost her up memories, living not gone, but before. Only living life now, only living what you know. Only living Thank you to my Kobe and Antoine, the servers. Thank you all too.
So real quick, so I know you guys probably sipped already, but on the next sip that you take, and we'll do this from one introduction to the other, one course to the other. And again, I'll remind you to sip, bite, sip. But until the food gets here, I want you to be able to drink drink just enough that first sip that you put on your palate, so you can gently swish it around before you swallow. That should give you the burst of flavor, okay? So again, and then, so that's going to give you whatever your palate is willing to, I don't know, find in that whole aspect, okay? And everybody's palate is a little different. Everybody's gonna be a little different. I want you guys to try to have the chef come out. There he is.
Here is the chef. Woo!
Everyone. So Eric and I came up with these, pairings, and I wanted to introduce him and kind of have him talk a little bit to you guys about this first offering.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So we call this the chilled corn bits. It's part of what summer was, and how the warm season is still pretty much around something. But the chilled corn bits is garnished with our house-made chow chow and cocoa corn, and with fried potato crisps. So that little crunchy element to the dish was fried potato. And yeah, it's just like a really nice, palatable soup, a nice starter to this lovely little tea tasting that we've got going on here. And yeah.
Woo!
So with that, I started off, I wanted to pair this with a very delicate tea. And that's what the majority of white teas. White teas are very delicate. They're the first offerings from the tea tree plant. Okay? So they have to me, a naturally earthy, sweet taste to it. And it also could have a little slight floral taste to it. And so with this, I thought this would be a very good palate cleanser too as well. So even as you bite through it, it will continue to cleanse at the end of it when you do the sip, bite, sip. And I thought it would pair very, very well. So what do you think about the combination, and what do you think about the elements of the meal that's prepared? How does it pair from your palate with the white tea? Okay. So once you haven't had white tea, what do you think about the white tea versus what most Americans drink black tea? Yeah. So it is at the opposite end of the spectrum. And so when you look at true tea comes from one plant. And so this is the first offering from the plant. It's generally picked in the spring. Okay. That plant does not produce white tea again until another year. So that makes white tea very, very rare. All right. The Pagatan is a leafy version of the very first offering called the silver needle off the tea tree plant. The silver needle is one of the most expensive teas in the world. It's called a connoisseur's tea. Okay, so per ounce, it is really expensive, even for me as a tea purveyor. Okay, but this one is one that I do all week long because of the leafy fat part of it. It just makes it more affordable for me to drink more, right? But also it is very high in antioxidants. So the white teas are very, very high in antioxidants compared to the other three that we're going to introduce because of that first offering. Because it doesn't go through any fermentation or oxidation. It's normally just picked and sun dried. Okay? So that also gives it the elements of low caffeine as well. Okay? Some of the most best teas in the world come from a high elevation. Okay? And this is a very high elevation. Okay? So any comments, any questions on it? Very nice, very nice. So we're going to prepare for the second course and the second tea. And we will hear it to you.
Excellent.
You feel the spirit of the start to come alive till day is gone. And if we stay together, cause our feelings start together. Never mind the weather. Coming out to dance, cause it's just give me
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the next one. And we also going to talk a little bit about the last one. So remember I said the tea is from, true tea is from the same plant. I have any herbalists in here?
Yes.
Okay, is that what kind of herbalist? All right, so one of the questions I got when I was walking around was kind of paraphrasing how does the other things get into the teas, the other blends, the other herbs, fruits, roots, that type of thing. And so normally what happens when you're importing tea, every tea starts with a base. Every true tea starts with a base. Okay? So like the base, that was a white tea, single state white tea. And then if I wanted to add some other elements to it, then that's when you start blending. Okay, you start blending. And what happens is there's a couple different types. You have a single state tea, you have a blended tea, and then you have a scented tea. And those are the three kind of main categories of teas. Single state, blended, scented. Okay? So single state we talked about already. And so the blended means exactly that. When it's a blend, when you look at the loose leaf tea, you should see other elements other than whatever the base of that tea is. Right? So when you see a tea is called a ginger black tea, right? So it's not necessarily a ginger tea, it's a black tea with ginger. Okay? And so now there's a base of black tea in whatever region or place in the world it comes from, and they've added ginger wherever it comes from. Now, the single estate, they may have staff on at the estate or on the farm that's able to do blends or not. Most tea growing in varying countries, that's one of their livelihoods exporting tea, is they don't have. So as the tea to come up with a lot of these signature blends, we find what we call the best base that we're trying to use in the world, right? And then we figure out who are we going to get to blend that. Right? And then that's when we try to find, high quality master blenders. And so as the captain of the ship, right, I try to come up with my secret blends on the ingredients that I want in whatever base that I'm picking. I very seldom do a whole lot with white tea. And that's on two accounts, two reports. One is there's not a whole abundance of white teas that's picked in the world, so it's not produced all year long. And I really believe, from my research, that's why we don't hear much about white teas. It's not because, it's not healthy for you, like green tea. In contrary, it's higher in antioxidant green tea. But again, I try to give you perspective of how we navigate, right? So white tea is probably more prevalent internationally than it is here domestically. And that's because of the commodity piece, right? So if we can't abundantly produce it, right, then it does us no good to sell it. So, and I try to give people, when you're on your journey to find your peace and your joy, is give you this perspective of, and I say this with love and humility, is your environment, right? Your environment. And so your environment is going to dictate kind of how you navigate, whether consciously or unconsciously. So if you're always dealing on just vast commodities, right, then the areas or the things that cannot produce quantity, you may not ever hear about, or very little about. So I drink more white tea pretty much than any other tea of the basic forms, right? So as a person who grew up off of black tea, and as a person who grew up off of sweet sun tea, so white tea is what I drink most of. So just kind of keep that in perspective. And so because it's not an abundance pit, I like to keep the white teas as classic as possible. And because it's so subtle on the palate, you have to be really, really careful with what you blend it with. Okay? So those are the kind of the objectives that I go at when I think about one, obtaining more white teas. And this is again, Pamuktan is one of my favorite white teas next to the silver meal. And then also adding elements to it. Okay, adding elements to it. All right, it doesn't go through a fermentation. The other piece of it I want you guys to keep in mind, don't be afraid of caffeine when it comes down to tea. Okay, so if I ask you what caffeine is, what category would you put caffeine in? If you had to put it in a category, what would you call it? Stimulant. And so if I ask 9 out of 10 people what caffeine is, they would say stimulant. Okay? There would be one that would say drug. Right? So who's right? I love it when I have to work so hard. I love it. Both are right. So again, the perspective that I try to give you as we go on this journey is that the information of how we receive it, or in certain areas, is going to be different on how it's received or is disseminated in other areas, right? So as my travel has gone, I realized that the English language is the hardest language in the world. Hardest language in the world. Because it's vague. Right? And because it's vague, you can use one word that represents 20 different meanings. Right? But on this side, because again, when I say commodities, we choose that one word that is very stimulating to the message. So I would dare not tell you it's a drug if that's what I want you to buy. I would dare not. I'm not going to tell you. I would tell you that one other word that makes you feel good about yourself.
Stimulant.
Stimulant. And so the mind receives that totally different. And your navigation from that comfort in your mind drives you toward that stimulant. The big difference, and this is the same thing that you guys have in pairing. When we do pairings, this is how unique true tea is, right? It is so loaded with these antioxidants and amino acids and compounds and polyphenols. It's so loaded with it, right? That drug called caffeine that's in there becomes a natural substance because it cannot fight all that power that's going on from the other aspect. So that drug releases in your system slow. Slow. It never takes you outside of your circadian rhythm. It never takes you outside of your balance.
Nice.
Okay? Coffee. And I know, I've coffee drinking friends. Now, I'm not saying that there's no place in the world for coffee than what I'm getting ready to say. There's no place for coffee in my world, right? But that caffeine in coffee and the antioxidant in coffee don't pair up. It doesn't pair up. So the caffeine dominates, and that's why it releases in your system right away. That's the issue. But that's the issue with whatever free will choice we put into our system. It's how it interacts with your DNA and how it receives it. So when something releases right away, you are in your bloodstream, you're out of balance. We're built on balance. So just imagine you're out of balance every day, and you wonder why you keep getting the cold.